This is the story of the Dragon of Albania, George Kastrioti Skanderbeg. Our story begins in the early 15th century, a time of turmoil. The shadow of the Ottoman Empire stretched long across southeastern Europe, swallowing kingdoms whole. In the rugged lands of Albania, a young boy named George Kastrioti, the son of a local lord, was taken as a political hostage, a common practice to ensure the loyalty of vassal states. Torn from his homeland, he was brought to the Ottoman court, where he was converted to Islam and enrolled in the empire's elite military schools. Under the watchful eye of the Sultan, the boy from the Albanian mountains showed extraordinary promise. He was intelligent, strong, and a natural leader. He rose through the ranks, his prowess on the battlefield earning him a new name, Skanderbeg, or Lord Alexander, a nod to the legendary Alexander the Great. He became a brilliant Ottoman commander, leading the Sultan's armies to victory. To the empire, he was a symbol of their power to assimilate and command even the sons of their rivals. But deep within the heart of Skanderbeg, the memory of George Kastrioti, the son of Albania, was not extinguished. It was merely waiting for a spark. That spark came in the year 1443, during a chaotic battle against a Hungarian-led crusade near Niš. The moment had arrived. In the thick of the fighting, Skanderbeg saw his chance. It was an act of breathtaking audacity. Along with 300 loyal Albanian soldiers serving in the Ottoman ranks, he deserted the field of battle. This was no mere retreat. It was a declaration of war. They didn't flee into hiding. They rode. They rode with the speed and fury of a storm descending from the mountains. Their destination, a single point on the map that symbolized everything: the fortress of Kruju, the heart of his family's domain. Arriving at the gates of Kruju, Skanderbeg used his cunning as much as his courage. He presented a forged letter, supposedly from the Sultan himself, granting him governorship of the fortress. The unsuspecting Ottoman commander handed over the keys. The moment the gates were secured, the trap was sprung. The Ottoman garrison was swiftly overcome. After decades of exile, the son of Albania had returned. And then came the moment that would be seared into the soul of a nation. On a high tower of the ancient fortress, Skanderbeg lowered the Ottoman crescent. In its place, he raised a blood-red banner, emblazoned with a black, double-headed eagle, the ancient heraldic symbol of his family. As the flag caught the wind, it was more than just a banner. It was a promise, a symbol of a revived identity and the birth of a legend. The eagle had returned to its nest. The news of Kruju's liberation spread like wildfire through the Albanian valleys. It was a call to arms that the chieftains, long divided by feuds, could not ignore. In 1444, Skanderbeg convened a historic assembly in the town of Laju. There, he forged the warring Albanian principalities into a unified military and political alliance, the League of Laju. With Skanderbeg elected as their commander-in-chief, the scattered resistance of a nation became a single sharp spear aimed at the heart of the empire. A new chapter of war had begun. What followed was a masterclass in asymmetrical warfare. Skanderbeg knew he could never match the Ottomans in open battle, man for man. His army was small, a fraction of the colossal forces the Sultan could deploy. So he turned the land itself into his greatest weapon. The rugged mountains, the dense forests, the narrow passes, this was his battlefield. He perfected the art of guerrilla tactics, luring vast Ottoman armies into ambushes, striking with lightning speed, and then vanishing back into the unforgiving terrain before the enemy could regroup. Time and again, the mightiest generals of the empire were sent to crush the rebellion. And time and again, they were humiliated. The frustration in the Ottoman court grew with each failed campaign. Sultan Murad II, the very ruler Skanderbeg once served, decided to lead a massive army himself to end the defiance once and for all. In 1450, he laid siege to Kruju with an army of over 100,000 men and a formidable array of cannon. The fortress was defended by a mere 1,500 soldiers. Skanderbeg, meanwhile, remained outside with the main body of his army. relentlessly harassing the Ottoman supply lines, launching surprise night raids on their camp, and keeping the besiegers in a constant state of anxiety. The winter snows began to fall. Disease spread through the Ottoman camp, and morale plummeted. After months of futility, the mighty Sultan Murad was forced to accept defeat and retreat. Kruyu had held. The eagle's nest was impregnable. News of this improbable resistance reached the capitals of Europe. In Rome, the Pope hailed Skanderbeg as the Athleta Christi, the champion of Christ. To the kingdoms of Venice, Naples, and Hungary, he was a crucial buffer, a bulwark holding back the Ottoman tide that threatened to engulf them all. They sent him subsidies, supplies, and titles, praising his name in their courts. But this support was often too little, too late. Skanderbeg and his Albanians were largely on their own, fighting a war for their own survival, which happened to align with the interests of Christendom. They fought not for popes or kings, but for their land, their families, and their freedom. For over 25 years, Skanderbeg stood undefeated. He frustrated and defeated army after army, including those led by Sultan Mehmed, the Conqueror, the man who brought down the walls of Constantinople. He became a legend in his own lifetime, a figure of both terror and respect to his enemies. His strategies were studied, his name whispered in awe. He had achieved the impossible. He had given his people a quarter-century of freedom against a superpower at the peak of its strength. But even legends are mortal. In 1468, in Lazio, the very town where he had united the Albanian princes, Skanderbeg fell ill with malaria. As he lay on his deathbed, news came that yet another Ottoman army was approaching. It is said that the dying hero ordered his men to prepare for battle. And the mere rumor that Skanderbeg was on the move was enough to cause panic in the Ottoman camp. But this time, the commander could not lead them. George Castrioti Skanderbeg, the Dragon of Albania, died, surrounded by his loyal warriors. His death was a devastating blow from which the Albanian resistance never fully recovered. Without his unifying leadership, the League of Lazio fractured. Within a decade, the fortress of Kruyu finally fell, and Albania was completely absorbed into the Ottoman Empire for the next 4 centuries. On the surface, it might seem like he failed. His nation was conquered. But that is not the true measure of his legacy. Skanderbeg did not just win battles, he forged a national identity. The banner he raised over Kruyu became the enduring symbol of Albania. His story of defiance, of a small nation standing against an empire, became the foundational myth of his people. Through the long centuries of occupation, the tale of Skanderbeg was passed down from generation to generation. A reminder that they had once been free and could be again. When Albania finally declared its independence in 1912, it was Skanderbeg's flag they raised. His legacy is not one of ultimate victory, but of indomitable resistance. It is a testament to the idea that true freedom lives not in the absence of chains, but in the unyielding will to break them. George Castrioti Skanderbeg proved that the strength of a people is not measured by the size of their armies, but by the courage in their hearts. And his legend continues to inspire all who fight for freedom against impossible odds. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this story as epic as we did, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. We'll see you in the next one.